everyone. Good evening, everyone. Karibu sana to the Kenya I Want Live podcast. Today we're here in Kiambu to talk, listen, reflect, and engage on the Kenya we want to see. Remember, this is not only as an idea, but this is a responsibility that calls for participation, for organization, and for action. We're joined by young people from across this county here in this room, but we also have many more who are following the conversation online through Sarah House. This is on Facebook and on YouTube. To everyone that is joining us online, karibu sana. This conversation is not only happening in this room, but remember to please engage with us through the live chat and through the hashtag to participate. So post your thoughts, post your questions, post your reflections, and tell us the Kenya you want to see and how importantly you think we can get there. As a reminder, this is a youth-led, an issue-based, and a non-partisan conversation. And for this matter, we are not here to campaign for or against any political party. We are here to think honestly about power, about participation, about leadership, about policy, and about the future of this country. So karibuni sana, and with that, the show is on. To help us unpack these issues, we are joined by an amazing panel of young leaders and thinkers. Some of them are going to bring complex questions around youth participation, around governance, around reform, and the big question of political parties. Help me to welcome to our stage. The first panelist is Kamau Prince. Karibu sana. So a few words. Brian is a scientist by profession. He is a product of the 2024 Gen Z revolution, Viva, and a product of the Kenyan civic space that has impacted by organizations in democracy. He serves in governance and social accountability. His quote for today is to invite young people to join into parties. Help me in welcoming Kamau Prince one more time. A big round of applause. The second panelist is Esther Gashanja. Karibu sana, Esther. Makofi kwa Esther. Esther is... Esther is a governance practitioner and a human rights defender based in Nairobi. She has a background in accounting and finance. She serves as the interim youth chair and NEC member of Ukweli Party. Makofi ni ya party ama makofi ni ya chama? Yeah. She works as a governance consultant with a focus on democracy and constitutionalism. Karibu sana Esther. Makofi kwa Esther. And last but not least, help me welcome to the stage Moses. Hiya, calm down. So, Moses, amesema ni Illinois, si Illinois, Illinois. Hiya, Moses is a visionary and transformative leader. His experience spans across 7 years working on youth leadership and development. He currently serves as a One Campaign Africa ambassador and a Generation Democracy Global Fellow. Locally, he serves in the life skills working group and on several youth-led organizations. He is a nominee for the presidency of the World Youth Alliance, and get this, he has written 2 books. These are Distraction, the Enemy of the Present, and The Master of the Masterpiece. And with that, help me welcome our panelists one more time. Karibuni sana to our panelists, and thank you for being part of this conversation. Before we begin, I want to remind everyone that this is a participatory conversation. The voices in this room matter, the voices online matter, and the voices from the streets matter. We want this conversation to reflect the realities of young people in Kiambu, students, job seekers, young professionals, border riders, digital workers, and many more. And for that, we want to begin with the first question. And the first question and the most focal point is, what is the Kenya you want to see? What is the Kenya you want to see? As we reflect on this, allow us to first hear from the streets. Okay, as that comes up, could we have a few engagements from the audience? What is the Kenya you want to see? Kenya ambayo unataka kuona ni Kenya ina gani?
Yes, napitisha, si nikupitisha ama? Oh, Kiambu oye! Kiambu power! Kiambu mko area? Sasa leo natoa maoni ya the Kenya I want. What is the Kenya I want? For the first few days we have talked about Kenya I want, but we have forgotten swali nyeti kwanza sana. The issue of climate change, the issue of climate justice. We have talked about corruption, we have talked about development, we have talked about infrastructure, but we have forgotten climate change. The Kenya I want is a Kenya whereby all the constituencies are like Limuru. Si mnajua venye Limuru inakaa? Green. I asked some of the people there and they told me, Limuru ilikuwa imekauka kama huko kwenyu. Sijui aliambiwa kwetu ni wapi. But in future, as we proceed with this discussion, let us put the issue of climate change in action. Ya pili ni hii mambo ya goons. Sasa tuko na uchaguzi pale Olkarao. Nasikia man of the match ni magoon. Badala ya man of the match akuwe wase wa ABC, wase wa voters. Sasa magoon ndio wakomboka kushinda wase wa ABC. Sasa tunaendeleaje kama taifa kama ni kubaya hiyo design? So tuangalie mambo ya magoons, tuangalie mambo ya climate, ndio sasa na health. Ile mambo ingine nazungumzia ni mambo ya health. Kuna meme fulani niliona inasema saa hii nakumbuka waziri wa afya ni nani, naamka napiga tisi na nakula fruits. So health we have to employ a preventive approach. Juu pia ukigonjeka shauri yako. So tuangalie mambo ya health. The Kenya we want a health country. Ndio if you are not, afya yako iko poa, you cannot produce all productions. All productions. Hata biological. Sasa utaproduce aje na uko mgonjwa? Usiku no performance, mchana no performance. So mambo ni hayo tu matatu. Health, climate na goons ishe. Sasa saizi unajua sasa ile employment iko ni goons, si ndio? Badala ya kazi mtaani ni goons mtaani. Sasa hii ni mambo gani sasa?
Asante mheshimiwa. Thank you mheshimiwa. Amesema prevention is better than cure.
Good. Ado Kiambu muriega. Muriega renge. Muko salama. Nice. Modani agoshwo. Hallelujah. Haudhuda. Muriega. Nice. The Kenya that I want. Kwa majina naitwa Mureithi kutoka Nyeri. Yes, na mimi ni Mkenya. Na niko hapa siku ya leo kusema Kenya ambayo ninaitaka. Na Kenya ambayo ninaitaka ya kwanza ni dhulma za kijinsia zifanye nini? Ziishe. Ya pili, vile ndugu yangu amesema afya. Ndugu MP wa Kilome, incumbent. My boss, I just want to echo what my boss has said. Yes. And thirdly is that a country that has peace and zero corruption. whereby hakuna mambo ya connection, your skills and your job. Sindio? That is the vision and the Kenya that I want. And to the panelists, I think that is what I need to hear from you. Asanteni sana.
Asante Bwana Mureithi. Mesema ufisadi, ubinafsi, ukabila.
Okay. Viva comrades, viva. Viva comrades, viva. Okay, mi nataka kusema Kenya yenye nataka. I want to echo what the PA Kilome has said, Bwana Mureithi. Amesema we want a peaceful nation. Because without peace, we cannot coexist. Without peace, everyone will be your enemy. Even your nearest neighbor, my closest neighbor will become your enemy. So we want a peaceful Kenya, where everyone is respected, the citizens are respected, and also where the rule of law is respected and upheld. And we also want a Kenya where citizens are valued, and we want an affordable education system. Viva comrades, viva. We want an affordable education system where every citizen is free to study and learn at whatever capacity they want to do. Because of late, we've seen an unfair system of education whereby the bans are being given to the very poor people are very high, until we've seen some of the students are dropping out, the civic and the universities, and that is not a fair system. So I want a Kenya that is so peaceful, a Kenya that respects the rule of law, a Kenya that upholds democracy, and a Kenya that has an affordable and fair education system. Viva comrades, viva! Viva!
Thank you. That is a powerful reflection. You're speaking to the issues of public trust. You're speaking to back on. It's back on.
Okay. Thank you. From Machakos County, the place to be. So if you are not in Machakos, you are nowhere. But anyway, that's a discussion for another day. So it's a great day that you are here to shape this conversation. Personally, I would wish to see a Kenya where politics of exclusion is a thing of the past. For those of us who have been around for some time, you remember what happened in the year 1965. Sessional paper, right, number 10, where it argued that some parts of this country are not productive and the government should not invest resources in those areas. And we know that policy has been in use over the years by successive regimes, and that has marginalized some parts of this country, has meant some parts of this country grow at the expense of others. And that's why you see a lot of issues of, people getting into extremism, kind of, for them to be heard. So a fair political system where every Kenyan, regardless of the geographical area they are born in, somebody can sit at the national level and plan for them, even when they are not known. Second, I would also wish to have a Kenya where institutions work. Political institutions, economic institutions work for every citizen in the country. A country where for you to rise on the social mobility ladder, merit is a key determinant, not your surname, not the person you know, not the kind of connection, not where your father was born, not the kind of person you know. Where merit, hard work, and individual potential are the key determinants of success in life. What you call meritocratic society. A society driven by merit. That's the kind of country we need to... Are you together? Yes. And last one is a country where people haven't got access to justice. You may remember, since 1963, there are people who are chased away from their land when we got independence. And up to date, they've never accessed justice. So a fair justice system, right? Recently, we saw an army officer who was sentenced to life imprisonment for a crime committed in the year 2019. That's a whooping 7 years in court. What was, 7 years, right? Something that would have been concluded within 2 weeks. So we need a judicial system where serious crimes can be concluded within the shortest time possible, so that the victims can get justice, and we can get to move on. And perhaps maybe a country where hakuna goons, because goons seems to be the common denominator, and niyo ni mambo hatuwezi kukumbali. And so those are some of the things that I would really I look forward to hearing from our able panelists. Thank you.
Asante sana. Those are powerful points on the expedition of the judicial and legal sector. Questions of resource redistribution. Could we hear from that side? The ladies at the back, you look beautiful. Please take the mic, or right after you. Please pass it on once you're done.
Thank
Keep
you
it
very
brief.
much.
Remember, the question is, what is the Kenya we want?
Yes. Vijana hoye. Vijana hoye. Kwa majina naitwa Governor Isaac Karanja Wanene. And for the Kenya I want, ni moja tu, where we get to understand that the change we want doesn't start at the election time. Inaanza pale wewe mwenyewe unachukua kura, una register in a political party, and then after registering in a political party, you take over that political party and you influence everything being done in that political party. Asante sana.
Asante sana. Comrades Power. Comrades Power.
Power.
Yes, kwa majina ni Samuel Kikundi kutoka Meru County. And Meru. The Kenya I want, I feel like this is a conversation very important. But I think there's one key thing when it comes to the Kenya I want, constitutionalism. Before we speak about anything else, for the longest time, this country was looking for a new constitution. We tried 2005, it failed. And 2010, we passed an amazing, amazing constitution. And the problem we've been facing as this country is disregard to the constitution and disrespect to the rule of law. If only we can look at these key things, I think everything else can fall into place. Number 2, the respect for human rights. If only we respected human rights, hatungekuwa hapa na mambo ya goons, ama mambo ya kuiba, ama mambo ya kuua au Gen Z. It is only human rights that can be able to put us in line. And then the third one is respect for the 3 key sectors of this country. That is education, health, na security. Hizo 3 zikishughulikiwa, Kenya iko sambamba. Asante sana.
Mheshimiwa anatukumbusha katiba inasema in Article 1, the sovereignty belongs to the people. The people shall. Say the people shall. The people shall.
Hi, good evening. Inongea? Oh. My name is Margaret. I am not able to come after you guys. Yeah, I am a bit older. So my name is Margaret Rachel. I also work as a youth senator, Kiambu County, and I am so honored to be here to hear what the young people from Kiambu want. For me, the Kenya I want is a Kenya that system works, like he has said, and all systems work, from education to employment. And when you're in that point of employment, the Kenya where people are compensated fairly. Because I feel like if we had jobs, or if there were jobs, we would not be talking about sijui goons, sijui ninunalipa kina nani. Yours is small money. If we had a system that works, a system that honors and respects the work that people do and are compensated fairly, we would not be dealing with all this. I also would say that I want a Kenya where everyone has a right to political association, and a Kenya that grows politically. I am, like I've said, I am a bit older. I am among the people who did GHCR. Kuna mtu alifanya GHCR hapa? Nyinyi wote na social studies. Sindio? Nyinyi wote na no, social studies. I'm still a youth though. Nyinyi wote ni wa social studies. Sisi tulifanya JHCR. And we cannot be having a Kenya that the leaders, the political leaders are the people we learned about in school. There are so many young people here with so many ideas, with capability to lead, and they're still not there in the systems. I really would wish that Kenya would grow politically, and growing means we are getting done with the generation, the older generation, and you're bringing in the new. Yeah, that's the Kenya I want.
Mheshimiwa amesema tujitume na system ifinye send. Youth wajitume na system ifinye send. Could we get from the back? Two more from the lady and to the left. Yes, please. So one comment, then read the online ones. Ladies, what is a Kenya you want? Baddies kwa ballot. Baddies kwa ballot.
Hi everyone. My name is Kimberly Grace, and just like everyone, I would write to the Kenya I want is one that is accountable, one that is youth friendly, where youths are not used as mobilizers, but they're there on the decision-making table, one that prioritizes the common mwananchi and not waheshimiwa, one that listens to the commoners, yule mama mboga, one that delivers its manifesto to the people. You're not only important during the voting day, but you're important throughout the process. That is the Kenya I'd love to see. Thank you.
Mheshimiwa natukumbusha Mkenya ni 365 days, not on the August 11th. 11th or 10th? August 10th.
Hello guys. Hi, online huko kumechacha. Okay, I've been monitoring the live chat, and let me read one of the comments. There's somebody here saying that this is a question I'm posing to you guys. How do we as youth move from being supporters to becoming decision makers within our local political parties? Kindly write that down because you'll be answering that question. Then somebody named Farida says, the Kenya I want is a corruption-free country where all voices matter and resources are shared equitably. Then another one is saying, where everyone has access to comprehensive SRHR services, accurate information, and the freedom to make informed decisions about health and future without being discrimination. Okay, another one is saying, the Kenya I want is a peaceful, just, and inclusive nation where every person enjoys equal opportunities, dignity, safety, and accountable leadership. Wow, the online people are so active, and keep tweeting, guys. I'll be reading the comments. Thank you.
Fantastic. So what I hear coming from those reflections is that the Kenya that young people want is about dignity, it's about opportunity, it's about fairness, it's about systems that work, it is about leaders who listen, and more importantly, it is about public money serving the public. And with that, allow me to pass it on to our panelists. So beginning with you, Bwana Prince Brian Kinuthia, what is the Kenya you want to see?
Prince Brian Kamau. Viva vijana, viva! Viva vijana, viva! So the English definition of democracy is very simple. It's 3 lines. A rule for the people, by the people, and for the people. That is the Kenya I want to see, where we have a rule by the people. That means the people are there. Central, number 1. Nyinyi ndio main print, blueprint, it is the people. A rule by the people, where now, sisi as the young people, we have decided to actually come up and take up these spaces because we have that leadership capability. And thirdly, a rule for the people, where the citizens' interests are put up number 1. Thank you so much.
Sasa hii ni guy, mimi sina hiyo nguvu ya Prince, but viva! Viva comrades, viva! The Kenya I want to see is a Kenya where our youth do not have to leave the country in order to afford to build the future in it. where opportunities are not just about who you know, but about what you can do, where a good idea can get mentorship and real funding opportunities without needing a connection in the right office. Yes, and most importantly, a Kenya where young people are actively involved in politics, and not just during the election period, but prior, before these policies are made, yeah, and before the ballot papers are printed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think for me, the kind of Kenya that I want is where we, the sovereign people, can be able to take back our power. I want to see a country where we celebrate our heroes, where we celebrate our diversity. A country that is committed to the individual as much as it is committed to the family and to the community. A country where our aspirations, both at the individual level and at the collective level, they are premised on the rule of law and shared values. I want to see a country where the old have security and the young people have opportunity. I want to see a country where our fathers and mothers, when they invest in their children, they are hopeful about their future. I want to see a country where young people are optimistic about meeting their future. When we talk about leadership, I want to see a country where the leadership transcends the normal politicking that we've been experiencing every day. I want to see a country where public office transforms and becomes the birthplace where we are able to deliver the promises that we have been making to the Holoi Poloi. That is the kind of country that we need, and that is the kind of country that we deserve. Lastly, and most importantly, in these very, very perilous times that we live in, it is very important for us to have political tolerance. It is time for us as young people to say enough to this nonsense of goonism. You do not have to attack me. You do not have to attack me because I am young. That is ageism. You do not have to attack me because of my religion. I want you to attack me because of my ideas. And that is the kind of country that I want to see. And that is the kind of country that we deserve as young people. Thank you.
I think I forgot to mention something. I also want to see a country where we honor the father of devolution. So devolution should work exactly like it was designed to. Counties like Kiambu have a lot of young people who are ready to build. But again, a lot of resources gets disappeared between county budgets and county offices. So I want a leadership that treats accountability not just as a campaign promise every 5 years, but as a daily practice. Can we do that? Learn to treat accountability as a daily discipline. Thank you.
Powerful, 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 powerful. Accountability, transparency, good governance. We've heard about jobs, we've heard about the cost of living, political tolerance, public service, the quality of public leaders, chapter 6. But now an important question we must now pause and ask. If this is indeed the Kenya we want, how do we get there? So in thinking about this, I want you to reflect about the changes that are needed. These changes come when people organize, when people participate, when people shape policy, when they follow budget, and they demand accountability, as you've said. So as we move to the second segment, I want you to lead us to how particularly do we realize the Kenya that we want.
Amazing. I have listened to most of us and we've talked about a very beautiful country and a very beautiful Kenya. And the how part is usually where we mostly get wrong. Because in my opinion, I feel like when we tackle the how part, we tackle it in very different aspects with different backgrounds. But we are all looking for one thing without having a lot of correlation, which is supposed to be there. So in my opinion, the first thing that we should all realize is that we need, as you said properly, we need as citizens to be very much organized. In this sense, our politicians are very much organized, all right? The teachers are very much organized. They have, what is it called? Where Teacher Service Commission, leave alone that, NAT, COOPET, like that. When we come to our doctors, they have KMPDU. They are very organized. When we come to, I just realized, actuaries have their own association. People who do actuarial science, which is insane. Because I don't even know what that actuary association is called today, but they are that organized.
Any actuarian in the room?
Any actuary in the room?
Your moment to shine.
Connecting. Sawa. But then, when you look at our communities, when you look at our own homes, where we come from locally, ile mtaa yako, I don't think we have that much sort of organization as the people. In this sense, there are examples of organizations from the people in other countries that I have seen that are superbly amazing. For example, what we call citizen town halls. Nani amewahi attend town hall ya kwao hapa kabisa?
Bunge mashinani.
Leave Bunge Mashinani alone. Bunge Mashinani, now I wanted to touch on something on that. So as I begin with my introduction, I said I am born from the 2024 revolution. Viva vijana, viva!
Viva!
Nice. That is where many of us were cultivated from. But then after the 2024 birth of our country, I went back home after June 25th because I was very much scared of going back to the streets. And there is no form of organization by the people, which is very, very saddening. And then, to make it even worse, when we come to now look at the people, our mothers have their own organization. Yao, vichama za wamama, sindio? Our fathers and the old men have their own sort of very organization that is very crude, but it works. Mnawapatanga wakiwa wamesimama kwa post ya lamp post kwa kijiji, wamesimama hapo chini. That is where they hold their conversations. But then for young people, kama si malebo, tukipiga sherehe, hakuna mahali ingine tunapatananga, ni tukienda shughuli kutafuta, and that one is very worrying. So in my opinion, how do we get to this Kenya we want? For example, right now as young people, we are suffering because there is a very huge percentage of unemployment. Sindio? How do we tackle unemployment? Unemployment can be tackled very easily if the government was decide that we are going to focus on unemployment of our youth for this year, right? But most of these times, every government chooses to prioritize what is in their manifesto. Now, I've started from from the top down because I do not want to be non-partisan, all right? Because I do not want to be non-partisan, let me begin from the top bottom, right? So we have the government led by the executive, the parliament, the judiciary. The judiciary gives us justice. We need that one to be free, independent on its own for us to access that. Yes. And then comes the executive, which is usually controlled by the legislature, and they have a lot of interlinking. Tuko na shida ya unemployment. This one is called a policy problem. Sasa, serikali ya leo itaangalia kwa manifesto yetu tulikuwa na kitu ya youth unemployment, hatuna. That means it's not a priority to them. But if the young people were to form or to get into those political parties way before the election day, way before we hearing about elections, it's next year, get into these political parties. These political parties are incubations where you now bring your idea. Unasema mimi niko na idea, tunaweza pea vijana 5,500 kila mwezi wafanye kazi kwa streets, itwe kazi mtaani, si ndio? And it is a very good idea to combat unemployment. This idea turns from an idea into a policy statement. From a policy statement, it goes now with this political party, it goes to the House of the Parliament. The House of the Parliament, hapo ndipo wana control pesa yetu. See, it's all about our money. So now, in the House of the Parliament, they decide our priorities is on this. If the young people have actually managed to infiltrate these political parties and put unemployment to be a huge priority, kwa the floor of the House, unemployment issues will be a huge priority, which translates to the executive, and then the executive implements. So in my opinion, nikimaliza, I know I've done a very huge breakdown. A lot of organization is there, one by our politicians who we feel are not doing what we want currently. Sindi ukweli? And there is very few or very little of organization from the people. As young people, our entry point should be the already existing channels, which are political parties, which are where we get to form policies. These policies influence budgets and finances. These budgets and finances implement issues. Ama namna gani, my friends?
That is a timely conversation we have, and even as I reflect about it, many of us were organized. I remember many of us who went to the streets were organized on 3 focal points. Tuko, tribeless, leaderless, and partyless. But what Brian is saying is that that organization in itself fractured apart. So what do we need? We need better organization. We need to know, one, that government responds through budgets, through policies, through laws, that indeed public priorities, as it must be, are shaped through institutions. These institutions are parliament. And the only vehicle to get through here is, as you've rightly put it, political parties. So yes, as a focal point to the youth, mumesikia strategy hapana, strategy ndio. Strategy hapana, strategy ndio.
So actually, I don't know whether you remember, in our political space, sorry, ni kidogo nisahau hii. In 2024, we really went out and rejected a finance bill because ilikuwa inatuumiza as young people and as Kenyans. Si ni ukweli? 2 years down the line, I don't know whether you've had these conversations amongst our politicians that finance bill still passed. Tafakari hayo.
Musipende. Thank you for that. Now allow me to cue in Gashanja. So many young people feel that they've spoken, we've protested. Fantastic. So many young people feel that they've spoken.
Posting, protesting, and complaining is good. But, posting, protesting, and complaining is good. It tells us something that is wrong with the country, right? But it cannot elect us a better leader. It cannot change laws. It cannot pass a bill. So, protests do open the doors to such possibilities, but it's organized participation that keeps the door open for as long as it's needed. Right now, a lot of youth energy is existing as a crowd. And a crowd is powerful for a moment. But again, a crowd, it cannot be sustained for long. Because it lacks structure. And what lacks structure will eventually crumble and fall. So what we need to do, I think, is exist as a constituency that has clear demands, evidence, a clear, defined, and organized leadership, evidence, as I've said again, and follow through. And a good example is the Okochumi Coalition. I don't know if any one of you have heard of the Okochumi Coalition under TISA. And that means using tools already available to us as a generation, for example, public forums, policy discussion, budget making processes, leadership development, etc. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Powerful. So she reminds us that civic participation must include public forums, must be instituted through petitions, through budget engagement, through policy, and through community organizing. Allow me to move it to you, Moses. Still on the reflection on how do we get the Kenya we want? So when young people say they want a better Kenya, who has the power to make many of these decisions? Where does the power sit? And who influences it? And I remember a rhyme from my kindergarten that goes, follow the leader, 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 follow the leader. So who's the leader and where is this power sitting? And who has the power to influence it? Please guide us on that matter. Thanks.
Thank you for that. The year is 2021, if I can remember it correctly. I was in Parliament to deliver a petition. And I happened to bump onto the majority leader then. And we had a tete-a-tete, of course, with some of the young people that we had. There is something that is very, very powerful that he said, and I took away. He said, Moses, I need you to understand this. That as long as young people organize themselves and have their issues find their way in this house, everything else that you're doing out there is hot air and it is noise. Period. That statement really hit me. That we can go out there, we can be excited, we can demonstrate, we can do all these things, but it all comes down to where do we take our issues? To answer your question, power rests with the institutions. And I'm going to be reading for us, one of the articles of the Constitution. But before that, we need to appreciate the role of parliaments and the county assemblies and some of these caucuses in terms of, because they are the ones who are charged by our Constitution towards ensuring that they implement. If you talk to the sociologists, they will tell you there are 5 kinds of power. There are 5 kinds of power. Now, I think sociologists na Kiswahili wanaitwaje jameni? Unajua Waswahili wana kitu kaa hiyo, right? Kitu hiyo sasa. How sasa, right?
ChatGPT,
right?
ChatGPT University.
Right, I think they're called watu wa elimu jamii. They tell us that there are 5 kinds of power. I want us to go through this very, very quickly so we can get the context. 1, there is what we call coercive power. 2, there is what we call reward power. 3, there is what we call legitimate power. There is what we call referential power, expert power, and expert power. I want to focus and zero in on 2 so we can get this right. The young people, what we did, and the Gen Zs, what they did. That is what we call coercive power. And coercive power, it is more reactionary. What now we need to have is what we call legitimate power. And I know that we are not new to this conversation because we are not new in Jerusalem. We have all heard about the calls of legitimacy to several governments that have been there. And why is legitimacy then important? It is because it gives you authority, or the authority that you have is derived from your position. So if you are in authority, what you do is you act. But if you're not in authority, what you use is coercive power. You react. So beyond young people reacting, we need to start being proactive. Now, being a democracy, we need to appreciate something very powerful here. That the most powerful office in a democracy is the people. It's the citizen.
The people shall.
It is we, the people. And I want us to very, very quickly, chapter 8 of the Constitution. Allow me to read this so we can get this in context. Chapter 8 of the Constitution, I think this is article 94.1. Very, very quickly. Henrik, are you with me? So that we can be able to get the context. I want us to listen to this because this is very important. Listen to this. Listen to this.
Chapter 8, the legislature, Article 94, subsection 1.
Yes.
The legislative authority of the Republic is derived from the people and at the national level is vested in and exercised by Parliament.
Very, very powerful, right? You just repeat it.
Okay.
Listen to this.
The legislative authority of the Republic is derived from the people and at the national level is vested in and exercised by Parliament.
Very important. Three things that I want you to take from there. Number 1, that's where is the power derived? Where is it exercised and where is this vested to? Now, if it is all about Parliament, then we have to answer these questions. Where do the parliamentarians come from? The parliamentarians come from political parties. And it is important for us to be able to appreciate that when you get into Parliament, there are only 2 sides of the aisle. There is only the majority and the minority. Very, very important. So the political parties, and we need to understand that they are the ones who shape the manifestos. If they shape the manifestos, then that tells us that they are the ones who determine the policy priorities. If they determine the policy priorities, it means that they will be able to influence the budget and the bills. I want us to understand something here, so listen to this if you've not been following, right? If we were to sort of summarize the issues that we have been clamoring about as young people, they fall under 3 categories. 1, issues of budgets. Hello? Issues of budgets. Number 2, it is issues of oversight. And number 3, it is issues of the laws. Then the question that we have just answered, who are responsible for this? It is the representatives of the members of parliament. The simple answer is that the power that we have been seeking all along, it is in the political parties. It is in the nomination rooms. It is in the manifesto formation committees. And that is where, as young people, we have got to occupy. We have tried the churches. We have tried the streets. It is now time for us to occupy the political parties at that very level. That is where the power is.
Moses reminds us that power belongs to the people. Power belongs to the people, but power is vested and exercised by parliament. Remember that. And the only way to get through parliament is through
Political parties.
So PPP, political parties to parliament. Asanteni. Fantastic. So as a brief recap, 1, that budgets are passed through elected representatives, that laws are passed by parliament, oversight is done by parliament, and many of these representatives sit in parliament. So if young people want to influence leadership, they want to influence policy and government, we must understand the role of parties. Tusikue bendera ufuata
Upepo.
lakini hii bendera ifuate chama, si ndio? Asante. Allow me now to open it up to the audience. A few questions, comments, reflections. Yeah, where do we start? You can also pass.
Yes.
Your name, where you come from.
Vijana hoye. Kwa majina nafahamika kama Isaac Karanja Wanene Governor. I just want to echo his words on political parties. The matter nominations. When we talk about political parties, generally they have the political owners. We have the Rigathi. I don't know if I am supposed to mention. No. So we have them. We have X, Y, Z, and Q.
Yes.
When X has a political party B, he will determine who goes to be elected at the nomination level. So us as youth, if we don't join these political parties, and if we don't influence at the nomination level, then the political owners, they will deliver to us someone who is not capable, who is not performing, because he has money, anaenda kule parliament, anafanya vituko zake, and then after 1 year, tunaanza kulalamika. But swali ni, je, shida iko na nani? Ni wao ama ni sisi?
Anatukumbusha power resides in the nomination process. Tukumbuke nomination process only happens through political parties. So all through hashtag is Occupy Political Parties. Asante sana.
Thank you so much. Once again, my name is Samuel Gikundi. Yes, from Meru County. I'd like to throw this fun in the works, or the whatever. My main question is, we're raising a pertinent issue when it comes to political parties. But again, you have raised the issue of us being partyless, leaderless, and tribeless. I think we are becoming a bit unfair to the context of what was happening in 2024. Mgala muwe, lakini
mpe haki.
The context of why we were partyless is because one of the key things is that our political parties lack ideologies.
Say that again. Say that again.
Our political parties lack ideologies. They are built on one, tribes. They are built on region. If I come from Lima, I'm supposed to join political party X. If I come from Nyanza, I'm supposed to join political party Y. So we ask our questions. If we join these vehicles called political parties, how are we then assuring this Kenya we will get the Kenya that we want? Yet the same issues we are dealing with in our country are so pertinent in the politics. I mean it. I agree that you will raise the issue that we should be at the forefront so as to change the same. But I'd like also to raise a key issue. One, there's the whole idea of electoral financing. Okay? Vijana wanataka hizi viti and they want to get into parliament. But have you forgotten for you to become an MP in this country, you need a minimum of millions. I am yet to be employed. Where do you expect me to even get 1 million?
Millions.
Just for nomination. You get it? I don't know if you get it. Like the system in itself is formed in a way that these political parties that have been created are just electoral vehicles. How many political parties have we had since 1992?
Right now we are at 97.
I don't know, 97, right? If you look at all these political parties, they change with time, they change with seasons. Even 2032, we'll have another one. Even 2037, we'll have another one. What I'm trying to raise is one. Political parties, yes, will help us in this. But at the same time, one thing that we need to stand with as young people is an ideology that we stand with. Political parties should stand mainly on ideologies rather than just the whole idea of elections. Because right now we are nearing elections, so many parties have been created. After elections, most of them will die. For you to just get a nomination, if you look at the percentage of youths that are in parliament, very few. Why? One, electoral financing. Two, these political parties have the who and whos. Before you fix yourself there, you must tap a few pockets. You must find a way here and there because it is a system problem. I agree, political parties are good, but we need to deal with the system more. Thank you.
Before somebody else speaks, allow me to speak on that because it's very pertinent. Sinikweli, in 2024, and I agree with you, we went out to the streets partyless, leaderless, tribeless because of those reasons you've stated, that we felt political parties have absolute no clue in touching or representing what we feel and our ideas. True? Now, I want us to take us back a little bit. In 2022, during the election from IEBC, more than 8 million young people did not participate in voting. And in my opinion, I believe it stems from the same reasons that we felt, regardless of whatever it is, our voices will not be heard. True? And this has been true to the case in our political arena since our independence. Yes? Now, as we speak currently, we have 93 plus political parties. And I agree with you, most of our political parties are based on ethnicity, are based on region, are based on zoning, are based on some political head we cultivate and we, that is the truth of the matter. And then 2024 happened and we were like, hold on a minute. One, this country, the majority are young people. Like over 75% of this country is young people. Yet, we are nowhere to be seen in these political parties. Main reason because they do not speak to our needs. They do not speak to what we feel. True? Now, 2024 we got out and we were like, no, we disrupt this system. And true to the word, Kenyan Gen Z is disrupted. And if you are very keen, whatever we did was very powerful. Other nations copied what we did. Nepal did what we did. Bangladesh did what we did. TZ tried. Yes? But now, Napo Dipo, and this is where I feel, in 2022 and 2027 are 2 years that are very different. And in 2027, we are experiencing something we have never experienced in this nation. We have two sorts of liberations before. We have had the liberation that our Mau Mau forefathers fought for. And they fought for our land and our freedom. And then in the 90s, we had the political liberation, where our Matibas and our Babas and every other person during that time fought for our political rights. And now, we are in the economic liberation. And this is where I want to take us back to how we need to get into these political parties. And maybe to demystify a little bit of what he said. We are in an economic liberation where, as Moses put it right, the people who exercise our power that we have given them, they exercise our power indirectly because we have elected them. They are in parliament. And to get into parliament, I agree. You can either be an independent candidate or join a political party. Sindio? Now, technicalities kidogo kwa sababu mimi ninatamani sana kukua kwa ballot 2027. Nimesoma ututu vitu I have seen. As an independent candidate, you need to have 10% signatures of the electorate number. Kama unasimama Kiambu County as a governor, as a senator, as a women rep, 10% of Kiambu County is 200,000 or 210,000 votes. Lazima wakuendorse 10% of the people, and then IEBC can now say, fine, you can go independent. But if you do a political party way, you don't need to get this 210,000 votes. Secondly, as an independent candidate, tuseme umeingia parliament. Tunakuja kuinfluence policies. Tuna-influence budget. Tuna-influence projects. Wewe umesimama kivyako. Mimi na mambogi zangu hapa, in a parliament of 369, we are 200. I kid you not, you will utasimamisha mpango, tutakuangusha. Utasimamisha mpango, tutakuangusha. And that is what in 2024 happened. True. Because as young people, we did not have people to push what we were saying. We did not have people in parliament saying reject, 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 and their numbers were many. And that is why they have the audacity to come back to us, the young people who were on the streets last year and 2024, to tell us that they broke down this finance bill and passed it still. That is why. So I remember when we were having this conversation in-house and we were saying, in 2024, if we had allies in political parties that are currently in parliament, we could have coerced them kidogo and told them, if you do not reject this thing, we will not vote you in. We will not listen to what you are saying. We will not give you positions as a political party. I am telling you this. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. You can decide to run. I can decide to sit on a bicycle. You can decide to buy a car. Bora ni tumemaliza nini? 100 miles. Shida ni mtu mwenye atakuwa amechoka design gani? That's a question to you.
So hi everyone. My question will be
Majina tafadhali, umetoka wapi?
My name is Sylvia. So my question will be, aside from the inclusion in political parties, we have the Youth and the Women League. How do we go beyond inclusion to decision-making processes?
Put that on hold. Please pass the microphone. We'll answer your questions after
Thank
the
you,
next
thank
round.
you. Comrades, viva. Okay. My take, maybe I don't know whether I'll answer one of hers, maybe that was what I wanted to say before, is we don't necessarily have to be in the political parties so that because we are vying for seats. For you to participate in the party nominations, you have, first of all, to be a member of that party. And so that tells you that you have a chance to decide from the very first stages, and that is the nomination stage. And you know, most of the time the young people sit back and watch because we think that whatever that was given is what should progress. And so most of the time as the young people, we are involved in the final part of decision making where we have no choice. And so the act of like, let us occupy political parties. We are not occupying them basically because we want to be participants in the seats that we want to get elected. We are participants as members who are part of the decision making. Because assuming we are in a nomination and there is a youth there and we want a youth into the ballot, we have a chance of nominating them into the ballot. And so we shall be in the part of the nomination part and also the decision part. And so even as we preach the gospel of occupying political parties, it's not only to those who are vying. It's for all of us, even those who wish to participate as voters, so that we choose our candidates from the nomination part, then we go and endorse them further into the ballot. And that makes the whole difference. We don't have to sit and allow the political leaders and all the members of the political parties to give us a candidate. And then we have no choice at the ballot. We have just to give them because we are in that party. And so let us be the part of the decision from the nomination then to the ballot. And we shall cause a difference. Viva comrades, viva.
Those are very powerful points. Siri ni numbers. Remember Siri ni numbers? She reminds us Siri ni numbers. But also that political parties are not just for politicians, guys. To Kingia Huko, you have the ticket to change whatever you want. So could we have people at the back, ladies at the back, back left, back right? Microphone.
Good evening, everyone. Mine will be a question and a comment. First, the question will be, I've heard, my name. My name is Sharon Sifuma with an M.
Huyu ndio Sifuma.
Yes,
Mimi
M
ndio
comes
Sifuma.
before N. Yes, I'm from this Nairobi, but nyumbani ni Western Kenya. So, yes. So my question will be, I've heard a lot about the things on political parties and leaders and the fact that most of them are formed on tribal lines. A question will be, yes, we are occupying political parties, but do you think some of these political parties can outlive the leaders who founded it? If I'm a leader from a specific region and I decide I'm the one standing, I'm choosing ABCD to stand, we as young people are in the parties, yes. Can we go, let me say, contrary to what the founder of the party has made a verdict on? That's the question. Because we have seen most of the time, even in the parliament, many people vote in accordance to the position of the party, which the position of the party, I believe, is the position of the leader of the party. So can political parties actually outlive the founders who formed it? Without mentioning names, yes, every time we hear a certain party, we associate it with a leader instead of the ideologies that party stands for. So that's the question I'll ask the panelists. The second is more of a comment about youth opportunities, when they were being mentioned that youth don't gather and organizations for young people and many things were mentioned, and more specific on the employment element. I believe, I stand to be guided, that there have been different governments and regimes, and each government has come with things and ways to actually find employment opportunities for young people. You have had Uwezo Fund, I think it was somewhere along 2013, 2014, thereabout. Nyota, we have Ajira, Kazi Mtaani. We even have Hustler Fund, I don't know if it was funding young people. But yes, we have had so many of those things in place. So I don't think that the governments don't have that in mind. The only question is, why is it not fruitful at the end of the day? You get, they are there, their systems are there, but zini pesa inaishia katikati or what? Because systems are there, why are they not working for the people? Yes, I believe
Systems need to be consequential. That's the term, consequential.
Yes, exactly. So if that can be addressed, I'll really appreciate it.
Please note that down. There was a lady with her hand up. Backbenchers, Pia.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Margaret Njeri Waithekeni. You exaggerating, guys. I am Margaret Njeri Waithekeni. I am the founder of Her Dignity, Her Pride initiative, and also serves as the Global Hub Outreach Officer with Politics for Her.
Buddies kwa ballot.
Mbona mnashtuka? So mine is a comment. For many young people, the words political parties evoke frustrations, as we have mentioned, because of the broken promises, because of transactional politics, because we are only involved during elections, and we have consistently seen and watched people make decisions about our future without us. The frustration is real. But the question here is, if political parties are the institutions that shape leadership, that decide who gets to the ballot, that influence policies, public policies, laws, and budgets, as young people, can we afford to abandon them? Can we afford? No. The truth is, walking away really feels, it feels justified because we have so many reasons to walk away, right? We have so many reasons to walk away, but nimesahau jameni.
Do not burn the house. Do not burn the house to kill the mouse.
I use Wi-Fi. What am I saying? I am saying if these political parties are that impactful in our daily lives, we shouldn't walk away from them. Oh, guy, Jehovah. Niko na homa in defense. So basically what I'm saying is, if young people want budgets that reflect their priorities, reforms that reflect their realities, and jobs, accountability, and leadership that listens, we must be intentional in organizing where these decisions are made from the start. Maybe the conversation shouldn't be why political parties matter. The conversation should be, why the conversation should be, Jamani, I should continue. Jamani, it's the Kenya. Yes, we should. It's fine. It's fine.
We are all tired of.
Yes, please. So I'm saying we should be intentional around organizing where decisions are made. I think perhaps the conversation shouldn't be, do these political parties matter? The conversation should be, who are in the political parties? Yeah? And who are in the political parties, who are occupying the political parties. And that is where we should start from, because politics is a game of numbers. And the more we are many in political parties, the more we are able to actually shape the decisions of the party. Right now, as my fellow Gen Zs, we shouldn't be asking, why should I join a political party? We should asking, what will happen if I don't join the political parties? Who will shape the Kenya I want?
Those are powerful reflections. Could we have one more? So why do I matter to the political party? Is the political party serving me?
Hi, good evening. I hope I've not forgotten my points too. But one thing I dislike about us young people, I'm still a young person, is that we operate like we are the minorities. We are not the minorities. We are the majority. Yes, we are the bigger part. If there was a cake that was being shared, we should get the bigger part. We are not.
Be
you're talking-
fearless.
when you're talking about joining political parties, good ideas. But have we thought about making our own political party? They say if you cannot beat them, join them. And that is what happens all the time. I know the CEO that registered the party, the ruling party in this country. He's a young guy, a very young guy. And you see, he registered a political party so that it can be led by the older people. Like, I don't think, does anyone know the CEO of the ruling party right now?
No names, no names.
No, no, no. Does
Tuonane
anyone know? I'm
nyuma
just
ya
saying. No,
tent.
I'm not. I'm saying, does anyone know the CEO?
Does
Oh,
anyone
you
know?
do? Yes. It would be very few people know him, and he's the person who registered that party. But registered that party and gave it to the older people. Does anyone know the CEO of the ongoing opposition party? He is a young person. I am telling you, he's less than 30 years old. So, if we join them, we join the bandwagon of being used. We are not going to be sitting at the table when we join them. If you join a cult, you follow what the cult is doing. You don't make the rules. But if you create your own cult, political party, not cult, if you create your own party, you're able to sit at the table and make the rules. I attended the youth manifesto of the ruling party when they were doing the youth manifesto. We sat down, we were told, 50%. And the CEO of the party is the one that was talking to us, 50% CS position will go to young people. Let's not even go to the gender, let's talk about young people. That did not happen. He himself, the CEO, is not a CS. He himself came out with just registering a party and getting a V8 and whatever other handouts here and there. Because he joined them. Let's create our own parties. Are we able to go and look, young at heart or young people, are we able to gather and wish each other well? Not everyone, tusikue sisi wote tunataka kukua governor, I want to be governor, he wants to be governor, and then we lose our points in there. Are we able to see a youth that we want and support them as the majority voters? The second thing that will make us the majority is if it votes. The by-elections have been there to show us what we did in 2024. And the shocker is that we don't turn up at the polling stations. Today, everyone was saying, the election that is happening today, they're not young people. The old people are the ones that are still voting. And because are the ones that people, the politicians still believe are the ones that are going to vote, that is why it's going to even be harder for us to vie for these positions. They already know the tactics. These people take handouts. And so we are dealing with handouts here. As young people, we are saying, politics is expensive. Because in your mind, you're also thinking it's the older people that will vote for you. Who cares about money? We've all said, no one stood here and said, the Kenya I want is the Kenya that gives me handouts. We want systems that work. So if we gathered ourselves and thought of ourselves as the majorities and not the minorities, registering a political party is less than 1 million. If we were committed to registering a political party, we would, in this room, kila mtu angetoa 10K, which is not too much. Na tungeongezea mabeshte zetu, tungetoa like 5K. Tukiongezea mabeshte zetu, so ishafika so, na tuko na party yetu yenye tunajua tukiketi hapa, we are not saying 50% will be youth. We are saying 70% will be youth because we make 70% of the population. 30% ndio wazae hapa. We can do it if we get the mindset of
Vijana
thinking.
power.
If we bring ourselves to the mindset of thinking that we are the majority and knowing that the Kenya we want is a Kenya that works for us and our younger siblings, etc. Let's not think about handouts. I ran for office in 2022. I ran through a party, through a party I could not get through nominations, so I went independent. You talked about signatures. Let me tell you, I needed 30,000 IDs. See signature. You should do signatures and attach IDs. It's such a heavy job. Let me tell you, I did that in 1 week. Because guys were coming, oh, tumesikia unataka signatures. Sawa, ndio hii ID yangu. Take a photo, do whatever. People were willing to help me out. I can tell you, I did not buy even one ID. I had people who were buying for 500. I was like, oh, I would have left it. I could not have afforded 30,000 times 500. It is a lot. But when we believe and start with the mindset of knowing we are the voters now, we are not looking for handouts. Politics is not expensive. Thank you.
Wrap 30 seconds, please, because we want to finish it. And we also want to allow them. But a very key point she's saying is to be intentional again with your strategy. Keep it short.
Yes. I had forgotten. Political parties are not perfect. They need reforms. They need fresh ideas. They need young people who will organize around issues, not personalities. Again, the question is not, why should we join political parties? The question is, if we don't join, who will shape the Kenya we want?
Nani ata-
So good afternoon. Oh, good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Bruce Kenothia, and I just had a question to the panelists.
Where are you from, Bruce Kinuthia?
I'm from Nairobi. I had a question to the panelists. So I had two questions. Number one, we have realized that right now, even the people that are being used to as goons, they're the young people. A good example is the one that we have in Olkalau. So my question is, how can we, as a political parties, ensure that we have changed that narrative of using the youths instead of becoming goons, they become active people to participate in parties and all. The second one is, she has mentioned something. We have realized that when it comes to politics in Kenya, we only as youths, we're normally very active during or when you're approaching the election period. How can we change that narrative whereby we're going to be active citizens 365 days in a year? Thank you.
Thank you for that, Bruce. Very powerful. One last one from the back, then we close. Ooh.
Thank you very much. I also have a cold. I'm sorry. My name is Margaret Nyambura, and I'm from Nairobi. I had a question. A friend asked me when I was preaching the gospel of, joining political parties as vehicles for change. And the question was, how can we ensure that political parties are not sustained by gains, alliances, and tribal motives? And these are the reasons why young people shy away from political parties. How can we deal with it? And how can we ensure that this is sustainable for us as young people? Because there is nothing for us without us. Semeni, repeat after me.
Nothing for us without us.
Yes, so that's the question. Thank you so much.
Allow me to wrap it there, please. So let us have the panelists. I wish you would stay here longer, but we're very short on time.
Okay, 1 second.
Okay.
Okay. Kiambu oye. Kwa majina ni Honorable Pascal kutoka Kilome constituency. Yes, it's true that some, not all political parties do act like shops, whereby the party leader is the shop owner. He decides where to buy, who to buy. Sometimes the party leader who is the shop can decide to become the shopkeeper, sometimes the customer, so sometimes everything. But that does not mean that now we should now avoid political parties. I personally joined a political party. After nimejoin political party, si mnaona niko na maendeleo kidogo kidogo? Si maendeleo iko kidogo kidogo? Na apart from joining a political party to because I'm looking for a political seat, we have seen other benefits of joining a political party.
One meeting.
Yes, order. There are many advantages of joining a political parties because I will not be seeking those more than 5,000 signatures for me to be in the ballot. I will automatically be in the ballot by virtue of being a member of a political party. And again, those competing against me hawana chama. Sasa nitashindwa aje uchaguzi na mtu hana chama? Yeah? So, political parties, they give you particular, they give you a lot of some resources, and also they give you a name. So it will be very difficult for a person without a political party, without a name, without a party color, to compete against me. That is scientific. Hiyo si hata nyinyi mnaona scientifically haiwezi. Yeah.
Fidel, then we wrap this up. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Kilome Ward. Kilome constituency, sorry. Apologies. Say no to Gunism.
Facts. Mostly when we speak, I think we should be very factual because that is what is killing the dreams that the youth have. You have heard of the Gen Z in Olkalau. I think it's correct for us to say that the register that the Gen Z are using to vote is a little bit different from what is being used in Olkalau. Look at your facts right. The Gen Z who had taken their votes there are 20 to 22%, and then 40 going downwards. Baby boomers are around 16 to 20. And then we have millennials and the other ones who account for a major percentage. So it's the older population. That's why you see majority of the youth have not turned up. So that's one. Facts, because it leads to what we also want in politics. Number two, I don't want to talk about integrity in politics because it's a balance between your personal greed and national interest. For sure, it's something that it's very difficult to have a conversation with, but it depends with you. If the national interest supersedes your personal greed, then we are heading towards the right direction. But for majority of us, not only the youth, it's the vice versa. So finally, the Kenya we want, I'd put my foundation on two things: ideas and issue-based politics. Why am I saying so? There is a difference between someone who just sloganeers and shouts, and there is a difference between someone who you can sit and reason with. We usually, most of the time, tend to complain about the problems we face as a country, but we are not looking at the systematic challenges that we have faced that have resolved to this. You cannot solve your problem of constipation if you're not looking at how you drink or eat. So if at the point of entry you are not taking in liquids, you already know your end result. We are devoid of history, so if you are able to read and equip ourselves with that, we are able now to get a system whereby we analyze the challenges we have vis-a-vis the solutions that we tend or we want to achieve. And lastly, it doesn't matter which political divide you are into, whether you are in the party that people consider is bad or good, it doesn't really matter. In politics, there's something that you called, you must have, not caucus, in a simple term, you must lower your guard. And by that, I mean that you must be able to, like, there are some things that you must, lazima utachilia in short terms. Why am I saying this? For us to achieve a certain goal, we must be united. But being united does not mean that we must follow the direction that every one of us is going. There is something that has been able to crop up majority of the time when we look at politics, not only in Kenya, but also other places. While still looking at the Kenya we want, majority of the people usually go towards the wrong direction. And it is only the few who stick by a given notion or idea that at a later time people come to appreciate that had it not been for whatever you had seen, we'd have been going to a wrong direction. So let us look and evaluate at where our country is vis-a-vis whatever we want to achieve, looking at the challenges and the solutions, and then let us develop ideas that are able to now solve the problems that we have. Otherwise, we have had a good conversation, and I believe that it is an opportunity for us to disagree and agree to now build the Kenya that we want. The sketch is there. It is just about strengthening whatever we need as a nation. Thank you.
Fantastic. Fidel is reminding us that even within power, we must have the power to negotiate. This was wonderful, guys. Please give yourself a round of applause. I'll allow the panelists, even as we close this, because we're bringing this to a close, to answer the question, but also give us their parting shots, answer the question that has been posed to you, and give us your parting shots.
All right. Our very good friend who vied in 2022 left, and I would have loved to have engaged her a bit, but there is something she spoke, and she asked that political parties, especially a Gen Z political party, sindio? And it sounds like a very good idea, but in accordance to our constitution and the Political Parties Act, you cannot form a political party that is segregating. Hatuwezi ungana. Yes. We cannot
Basis
have
of discrimination, yes.
Yes, we cannot have a political party that segregates that this one is for young people and old people cannot join, or old people will be 30% and young. We cannot do that. And then again, she talked about forming a political party, and akasema tukieka hapa dhautano tukiongeza mabishe zetu thao. Well, sawa. Every political party in Kenya has to meet some thresholds. One of those thresholds being you have to have political party offices, working party offices in over half the number of our counties. That means 25 plus. Yes? Bana munajua kufungua na kuran ofisi politically for 5 years. Na si raisi. So, even with according to the maths that she was, I like the brilliance behind the idea. But then let's look at realistically Kenyan context. Sindio? There was a question on if young people can go against founders of a political party, or political parties can outlive the founder. The greatest democratic country that we like to look at so much, the United States, is over 250 years old. They have very many political parties, but 2 political parties have been there since time immemorial: the Democrats and the Republicans. That means, and I like what Fidel said, that our politics should be issues and ideas. Tukuwe tunabishana that, you know, I have an idea about AI and you have an idea about AI, and we are dealing about, now we are comparing notes. Yeah, which one is better? Which one is better? Now that is the politics that we want.
Education is better than money.
Yes.
Agree, disagree. No, education is better than money.
Well,
agree or disagree.
Okay, we are agreeing to disagree. Now, Fidel said something very critical, and I am very, I rubber stamp. We are devoid of history. How many people know of a place called Merile in Marsabit? Hamujoi iskia. How many people know of a place called Kiminini? Not Kimilili, Kiminini. You see, so in my opinion, our history has been scrapped off of a lot of important things that will lead to what Fidel was saying. Your personal interest is not as great as our national interest. In this is what I mean. Today, if our leadership put the Kenyan people's interest first, I don't think we would be having this conversation at all. If today our members of parliament and our members of county assemblies reflected the realities of the ground, we will not be having this conversation today. Ungekuwa unapata MCA wako unamwambia tuko na shida ya maji, and it is sorted, and we move on to like we are growing. As I conclude, and my parting shot, I hope Mr. Moses
For young people to deliver the Kenya they want,
yes.
they must compete.
I hope you guys can talk on financing. because I am a huge believer that politics of money is not the politics that is part of the Kenya I want. I want a Kenya where the politics we are discussing is issue-based, where if I have an idea and I have zero money, we can all back up that idea without having to feel like it is personal gain. In my conclusion, I began this by saying a democracy, a true democracy, is where there is rule for the people, by the people, and for the people. And we are very, very privileged that we have the 2010 Constitution. The 2010 Constitution was made by teachers, nurses, farmers, professors, civil society, my mother, your parent. These are people who it did not matter their background for them to create peace. And the beauty of our Constitution is one, that the fact that it was created by farmers and nurses and teachers, it is a living document. It is prone to grow. If we feel this Constitution is not serving our interest, then it should grow. But as we are right now, this very beautiful Constitution, we are not even looking at it. We are looking at who has the bigger money, who is louder than the other. And I mean, if that is the Kenya you want, that's not the one I want. The Kenya I want is where we have the Constitution as the number one and the interest of the people reigning over personal interest. Thank you so much.
Makofi. Gashanja, for young people to deliver the Kenya they want, they must
Participate.
participate wapi? Participate.
To participate in political parties, in policy discussions, all these tools available to us. Thank you.
And now to you, Moses, for young people to deliver the Kenya they want, they must.
All right. I think there are a lot of things that have come up, and I really wanted us to have some time, but we might not have. But I want to end it with a story, a very short story. And I want to come from my departure point will be where Sifuma left it. Sorry for that, right? It is said, a story is told about two young boys who grew up in a toxic household. The father was a drunkard. He used to come home and abuse these young boys. Long story short, they grow up and they each get a family. One brother becomes a drunkard and abuses the family. The other brother becomes kind and caring. The first brother is asked how and why. He says, look at where I came from. What did you expect of me? The second brother is asked the same question. He says, look at where I come from. How can I put my family through such a condition? What I'm trying to inform us and bring our attention to, it is the power of narrative. How do we interpret the challenges that we are facing as young people? If you listen to my story, it is very important because the same circumstances they faced, but they had different lenses, they had different interpretations, and they had different results. It is very, very important for us to ask ourselves as young people, what will the narrative or what are we going to take out of this? I want to answer a few questions in one. I want 3 points that I can finish, right? For a very long time, young people, we have been electing people who have been selected for us. Let me repeat that again. We have been electing people who have been selected for us by the people who we have been calling party owners. I come to my second point, which was asked, is how then do we redeem this thing? Because today, as we speak, we have 93 political parties plus, and they are adding. It is in one of the posters that I saw somebody post that let us use the system to beat the system. As young people, we've got to appreciate that we cannot fight them on the financial front. It is not possible. But we have got to make our demographic dividend count for something. And that is why if we can be able to occupy these political parties, then we can become the new owners of these political parties. You see, this is where we solve the question of ownership. They have the money. We don't have the money. But if we can occupy and participate, then we take back ownership because we are the sovereign. I want to finalize by saying the following. If you have ever played the game Broken Telephone, you want to understand that if you ever played the game of Broken Telephone, you're very aware that when you pass on a message, when I pass on a message to Gachanja, by the time it is reaching Queen, it is a different message. Most of the time as young people, and we are the majority, we have been entrusting people, but when they get to parliament, the message that they are passing is not our message. And that is why we are saying, and this is very, very important, on the questions of frustrations, on the questions of the gaps and the challenges that we are facing. As young people, my call is threefold. One, let us occupy and participate so that we can restore internal democracies in political parties. Number two, let us occupy and participate so that we can make our politics issue-based. That is what we want. And number three, let us occupy and participate so that we can select the better candidates that we are talking about. But listen to me. But listen, you guys are excited now. You guys are excited. Now listen up. We need to wrap this up. We need to wrap this up.
Members,
So listen,
comrades.
better yet, in 1 minute, better yet, beyond just occupying and participating, I want to challenge us to present ourselves as candidates. I want to challenge us to present ourselves in the manifesto committees. I want to challenge us to be part of the policies, the policy formulation committees in our political parties. And let us not delude ourselves as young people. There are no perfect institutions, and it is the people who make the institutions. Ladies and gentlemen, if you forget everything that I have said, remember this one thing. Let us occupy and let us participate. And I strongly believe that we can remake, reshape, and make this country a better country. Thank you so much.
And now standing round of applause for our panelists. Remember the hashtag is to participate, the Kenya we want. But even as we bring that to a closing, thank you very much to our panelists. Thank you to the young people in this room. Thank you for everyone who joined us online through Sarah House. Thank you to everyone who posted, commented, and asked questions. And even as we live here, we remember that young people want a Kenya of dignity. They want a Kenya of jobs. They want a Kenya of fairness. They want a Kenya of accountability and transparency. But for all this, remember, the forum ni chama. Chama, 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 chama. Chama, 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 chama. Ni kwa hayo yote, hashtag remember to participate, tuingie kwa chama. Okay, even as now we bring it to a close, I want to pass it on to our convener for the parting shots. But this has been wonderful, guys. Viva, this has been perfect.
Thank you very much. Please let us give you up for the amazing panel that we've had. Thank you very much. So when Moses was speaking, I feel he has actually spoken more, especially some of the points that I wanted to put across. But we can all agree that we have had a very fruitful conversation around the kind of Kenya that we want. And the only belief that I would want to believe that each and every young person who's been part of this conversation is that each and every one of us, beyond this room, we are going home with that belief that we are capable of bringing that kind of Kenya that we want to see. Watu wangapi wanaamini it is possible? If you believe that it is possible, si inawezekana kwa kweli. So maybe just my parting shot, even as we bring this to a close, I would love to give my parting shot with a fable. A story is told in a certain kingdom. And in this kingdom, it was during an election period.
So most of the insects decided, you know what, we are not going to vote. There was only one insect that decided to go and vote, and that was the mosquito. And the mosquito, little did it know that it went to vote for an insecticide. So most of the other insects in the kingdom, they began pointing fingers to the mosquito, asking questions. How on earth would you go and vote for an insecticide? But did they turn up to vote, they themselves? Of course they did not go. The cockroaches, they decided, that is what we call voters' apathy. They decided during that time we are not going to vote. The flies decided we are not voting. The bed bugs decided we are not voting. The cockroaches decided we are not voting. But now the mosquito decided, I am going to do what? I am going to vote. And once it went to vote, it voted for the insecticide. Now here comes the insecticide taking power. Once the insecticide took power, the first thing that it did, it ensured that it killed every insect in that kingdom. Either the insect went to vote or not, they were all killed. And that is where the problem comes in as young people. Because most of the time we actually decide we are not going to participate in these party nominations. The same conversation we've been having here. Then afterwards, we keep on complaining. But now the problem is it we are complaining, is it because there isn't anything that we could have done or because of our own mistake? Most of the time as young people, we always point fingers. This happened, this happened, this happened. I will finish with a quote from Chimamanda Ngozi. And she said, and she said, when the house is burning, you run before the roof collapses on you. And I assume that is what we've been doing as young people. For the longest time, we've been running away from these political parties. But for once, I would say, we need to make changes and reforms within those political parties as ourselves. The time is now for us we no longer need to run away from these political parties. We need to occupy those parties. And it is star 509 hash. Go and ensure occupy. Tumesema tumejaa ngori. Sasa ni saa ya kujaa party. Tumelewana? So ladies and gentlemen, that is all from us today. Tupatane wapi? Tupatane wapi? Thank you very much. Asanteni sana. Let us give it up for the amazing panel. Aya, tumemaliza.